You know on the beat every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. Why I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're out the dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasha here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. And, of course, check out that blog that Drew just wrote over there as well. Simply click on the blog section. Bada bing, bada boom. It is right there. We got a great show for you lined up tonight, guys. We are going to recap some more Week 3, much like Tori and Combs did last night. We are going to talk some... we have some Guess Who with Mr. Wyatt Williams coming up as well. And we have a new segment tonight called The Real Bottom Line with Kevin. So Kevin is a part of Belly Up Sports as well. But we have to welcome the true myth, the true legend, the true man among men, Mr. Brandon BC Combs. What's going on, man?
What is going on, Buck? What's going on, Man Hour Nation? All our people on Belly Up Sports, 313 The Flash, Big X Radio, all our people in the UK, you know, drinking their tea, eating their crumpets, all the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
What is going on, man?
So first things first is apparently I got your name wrong. Yeah, it says you're Man Hour _ Tori. Guys, this is not Tori. This is Combsy. So that's 100% my bad. So, but Combs, if we go solo mode on you, it does say Combsy there. Just when it's just the two of us, it says Buck and Tori. My bad, dude.
Hell?
Dude, I'm really sorry.
Am I that ugly?
Actually, I mean, Tori is probably the most ugliest one out of all of us on the Man Hour. So no, you're not that ugly, man.
That's disappointing.
Definitely not that ugly. But guys, we are going to talk some Cincinnati Bengals tonight. They are running the North. Surprise, surprise, surprise to many people. But we have to start on the other side of the map. We're talking the West Coast. Sunday Night Football, the Green Bay Packers outlasted the San Francisco 49ers last night with the last-second field goal. You guys talked about it, how, you know, they left too much time on the clock for Aaron Rodgers and all that good stuff. But Combs, I got to ask you this question. Are the Green Bay Packers back? Are they back to that Super Bowl caliber team? Are they back to running the NFC until the NFC Championship game? Are the Packers back?
I'm glad that it says Tori under my name for anybody who's watching this right now. The Packers suck. And Tori is saying this all right now. The Packers are horrible. I am a biggest Bears fan to ever live. This is Tori. So when you're commenting, make sure you ask Tori why he traded. But no, look, the Packers they never went anywhere. They had a rough week 1 and they never went anywhere. They came back. They won in week 2. They destroyed the Detroit Lions like they should have. They had to come back after losing a 17-0 lead yesterday. I think that might be the one takeaway that you can take from that is that, hey, they had a 17-0 lead, right, and they had to come back and needed a last-second field goal to win that. But the Packers are a good team. They were in the NFC title game last year. They've still got Aaron Rodgers. They still got Devontae Adams. They still got Aaron Jones. They're a good team. They have trouble stopping the run on defense. And every once in a while, they get into these offensive lulls where they just can't put the ball in the end zone. But they're a good team. And they're not going anywhere. They're going to win this division. It's a really bad division. They're the best of the really bad division. So, I get people, it's a funny thing to me is because I woke up this morning to about 6 or 7 Facebook notifications, and all of them were from Green Bay Packers fans talking trash about the Bears. And I'm like, you guys are more angry after a victory than you are after a loss. And all you want to do is talk about how much the Bears suck and you guys won. Cool. Stop comparing yourself to a trashy organization that the Bears are right now.
Right.
If that's what you want to compare yourself to, because we're rivals, because you hate the Bears. Look, I don't like the Packers either, but I can admit when they're good.
Yeah.
I can tell the truth about when they suck. I can say stuff, but I've never once said, like, even after they lost week 1, I came on here shorted. I give Tori a little bit of grief. Of course I did. That's what we do because we're fans. But never once did you ever hear come out of my mouth, oh, the Packers suck. God, they're awful. They're going to be horrible this year. No, not at all. I never once said that. I said the Packers are still. I said, chill out. They're going to be fine. They lost week 1. It looked bad. Aaron Rodgers looked bad in week 1, and I spoke the truth. But it had nothing to do with that. But fans are dumb, man. Fans are dumb.
Yeah. So one thing that you said there is that the Packers gave up a 17-point lead, and I do agree. It was 17-0 going into halftime, and then Trey Lance scored that 1-yard little sweep run to the left side, I think it was. So are we maybe discrediting the 49ers, like how great they are, just because, they are 2 years removed from a Super Bowl, riddled with injuries last season, like obviously, and they only got deeper in spots moving forward. So can we say maybe that the 49ers came back in the second half and the Packers didn't give it up the lead, or like which way are you leaning?
The 49ers are a really good team. I mean, they're just not going to go away no matter how far they're down. And if you give them a breath of hope, they're going to jump all over it. And that's what happened at the end of the first half. Was they created I believe it was a turnover, right? It was a fumble or an interception or something. And they got short yardage out of it.
Yep. And
they turned that into a touchdown right before half. And then they got the kickoff in the second half, and they scored right off of the kickoff. So right off, it went from a 17-0 lead to a 17-14 lead in a matter of 5 minutes of game time.
Exactly.
So they're never going to go anywhere. So you always got to give the San Francisco 49ers credit. They, and God, 37 seconds, no timeouts, and it just wasn't enough. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are on a different level of we're not out of it as long as we're within one score.
Yeah. So did you see at the very end when he spiked the ball with 3 seconds left and he pumped his face he knew he won the games, whatever. I have faith in my kicker.
How big a cojones do you have to go 37 seconds, no timeouts, and shoot the middle of the field?
Yeah.
He didn't even go sideline routes. He shot the middle of the field.
Yeah, there was one play where Devontae Adams tried to get out of bounds, but he was tackled. And so I actually want to bring that up. So you say they have the big cojones, balls, or whatever you want to say to throw the ball down the middle and complete these passes and all that stuff. But I think it's good coaching. I think they have coached to be in this situation.
No.
Well, like you said, Aaron Rodgers has done it.
Did you hear what Aaron Rodgers said though?
Yeah.
After the game, he said Matt wanted me to shoot the sidelines there, but I know that in this time I want to get the ball to Devontae.
Right.
And I was fine with shooting the middle of the field. Matt LaFleur wanted sideline passes. That was all Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers said, "Yeah, screw you. I'm going where I want to go." And they were giving him in the middle of the field. So take it. I mean,
which exactly that's what you should do. Is you should, as a defense, you should give them the middle of the field. But this is where the lack of coaching comes in from the San Francisco 49ers sideline. Let's flash back to Super Bowl when they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. What were they doing to dominate the Kansas City Chiefs in that game? They were running the ball. What did they do to lose that game? They started passing the ball. So lack of coaching and lack of sticking to your game plans is really what messes them up in the end. And what they were doing at the end of that game is they were not laying on the receivers to make them get slowly back up and get to the huddle to take time off the clock. They were not swatting the ball away to, fumble the ball around so the rest had to go and get at the ball and waste a couple sets there. That is a lack of football IQ and a lack of good coaching on the San Francisco 49ers sideline. I don't care what anybody says. If you watch any other NFL team, they are the cornerback is laying on Devontae Adams for a good 3 or 4 seconds. If Josh Norman was in that game, I bet you the San Francisco 49ers would have won that game in the end, just because he's that.
Josh Norman would still be laying on him.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah,
still be laying on top of him. I agree. And the funny part is I didn't even think about that until you just mentioned it. Why? Yeah, swat the ball away, throw
Yeah,
it, to the middle
something,
of the
right?
field, make them bend over and go get it again. Like just something to waste 2 or 3 or 4 seconds off the clock. It doesn't even have to be big because that's really what it came down to. It was 3 seconds,
Yep.
and them throwing the ball right down the middle of the field. Look, the Packers are a really good team. The 49ers are a really good team. And this just capped off a great week 3 because it really was a great week 3. I mean,
Yeah.
we had some crazy stuff. The Detroit Lions lost on a 66-yard field goal after they had what was it, the Ravens.
Yeah.
They had them at 4th and 19 with 35 seconds to go from their own 17,
Yeah, but
and they lost that game.
do you want to talk about the delay game on that one, or you just want to skim on past that?
They definitely missed a delay of game, but that
Yeah.
happens a lot in the NFL. There's a lot
Right.
of times. There's a lot of delay of games that are missed, that one cost them a game.
Yeah.
Um,
So let me ask you this. So, as I do agree with you that the NFC North is a down division this year, I mean, obviously the top team is going to be the Packers, and I think they're going to probably separate themselves here the next couple
it's
weeks.
going to be the Packers, not
Yeah.
not the Lions.
Yeah. So since the Lions have lost a lot of heartbreaker losses, I actually have them going 9-8 now. So I need to subscribe a win. I heard you say it on the last night's show, so I have to contradict myself, I guess. But let me ask you this: was it a couple years ago we saw the Cleveland Browns basically invent new ways to lose games? They'll be up like 55 points and they would fumble 16 snaps in a row and lose by 2. I believe in what their 0-16 game. There was 10 games when they lost by 1 possession, or obviously not or less, but by 1 possession, less than 7 points. We are kind of seeing that with the Detroit Lions. Do you think they are going to be like the best worst team in the NFL?
No, I think the Miami Dolphins are going to be the best worst team in the NFL. I feel like the Miami Dolphins are a quarterback away from being a real threat in the AFC,
Which is Watson.
I think that the Detroit Lions are a lot of pieces away from being a real threat in the NFC. So no, I don't think they're going to be the best worst. I think that they're competing right now. I just, they had a lead on Green Bay last week and ended up losing that game. They should have won yesterday.
Yeah.
Only the Lions can lose like that, right? I saw something where it was like 3 60-yard field goals have beaten them in games in the last 30 years or something. That's insane to me.
Yeah, like I said, they are inventing new ways to lose a game. 65-yard field goal that bounced off the upright, bounced straight up, and a little bit of wind pushed it over.
And that's the second time Justin Tucker's done it to him.
Yes,
he did it to him a couple years back. He did it a couple years back, and Justin Tucker beat him with a 61-yard field goal. Now he just with a 66. It's gross, man. It's so bad. It's got to suck to be a Lions fan, huh, Luke G?
Yeah, so Luke G will be on the show tomorrow, so guys, be sure to ask him how he's feeling. Make sure he is not on watch there of jumping ship and becoming a Vikings fan or a Packers fan. But are we going to say that the NFC North is the worst division in football?
No, I still say that's the NFC East. You got some really bad teams there.
Even the AFC South is looking pretty bad too, though.
Yeah, AFC South isn't, Hey, Carolina's shocking me, though. Carolina being 3-0 just, blows my mind right now.
Yeah.
I would have never thought that in a million years.
We'll be talking about some 3-0 teams tomorrow. But speaking of teams making some noise here, the LA Rams, we saw them. Is it considered an upset if you are at like either way? They upset the Buccaneers. Let's just be flat out honest. They upset the Buccaneers.
They were the favorite in that game.
Yeah, but still, Super Bowl champs, 17-0. They return all 22 starters. Right. But the Rams beat the Bucs 34-24. Combs, are the Rams that freaking good?
Yeah. Yeah, they are. And going from Jared Goff to Matt Stafford has really vaulted them from being a very good team to being a great team. And that was the key missing cog is a quarterback that they can actually depend on to do the things that they want to do. And they're able to do it now. And man, is it showing. And man, am I pissed off that I sat Matt Stafford yesterday against that Bucks defense to start Justin Fields.
I would have too.
I'm so angry with myself. I'm so angry. Yeah, they were going up against the Bucks. I figured, Tom Brady and the Bucks, maybe they shut him down a little bit. And I thought maybe Justin Fields can have a good game, not knowing that Matt Nagy is a complete trash bag and wasn't even going to call a play designed for freaking his quarterback. But yeah, Matt Stafford is the real deal, and the Rams are the real deal. They are a great football team. They might be the best team in the NFC.
So Blackthorn here on youtube.com/manhour says the Rams look like contenders, and we've all sat here, me, you, Tori, and Wyatt have all said we kind of feel like the winner of the West is going to make the most noise in the playoffs. I mean, obviously, right now the Rams kind of have a front row seat of winning the NFC West. Combs, after watching 3 weeks of football here, do you think the NFC representative is going to come from the West?
Yeah, I do. They might be a division that, I mean, quite possibly. Let's see. So you get your 4 division winners, and then you get 3 wild cards, right? Is that how it goes? There's 7 teams.
Yep.
Would it surprise you if all 4 NFC West teams go to the playoffs?
Not at all. Not at all.
And so, I mean, at that point, 4 out of 7 teams, I mean, the odds are forever in their favor.
Right.
And so, yeah, I absolutely think that the winner is going to be, and if it's not the Rams, I think that the Cardinals have a really good shot. And if not the 49ers are right there. I think those are the 3 best teams in the NFC.
And
I
heck,
really do.
if it's not them, the Seahawks still play good enough for 9 weeks to get them into the playoffs, and then they suck for 7 weeks. So since there's an extra game, maybe they'll get back on track, and win themselves another Super Bowl.
I have the Seahawks as the worst team in that division at 11-6,
which is kind of sickening.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, like it kind of makes me want to throw up in my mouth a little bit because like my Kansas City Chiefs right now are 1-2, and I'm like, man. They still got a shot, but
you know what's funny? I picked them to be 14-3, but start the season 0-3.
Yeah, and and like honestly, if it wasn't for Baker Mayfield's screw up at the end of that game, you would probably be spot on. Let's just be flat out honest.
Yeah, and I think right now you're about to get a very angry Chiefs team, and when you get a very angry Chiefs team, things are going to happen in their favor. We talked about it a little bit last night. I'm going to be watching them closely over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well,
because if they lose another game, if they lose another game over the next couple of weeks, it might be panic time in Kansas City.
Not, I wouldn't say panic time just because they've been there, they've done that, they played behind.
I just feel
every
like maybe
freaking playoff game.
Up to them. The league might be catching up to the Kansas City Chiefs.
So, when you say catching up to them, do you mean like learning their offensive scheme and knowing how to
shut them down?
Yeah, and that's exactly what you do. Is you run the ball. You do exactly what the Chargers did. You forced them into making mistakes and run the ball and milk the time off the clock. That's exactly what you did. Sunday for the Kansas City Chiefs was a perfect storm. They had 4 turnovers. Andy Reid was having. I think he's still in the hospital. I don't know if it's COVID or heart stuff because he's had history of heart issues, much like Urban Meyer. No pun intended. It's
probably heart stuff. He probably realized that he lost to the Chargers and was just not happy about it.
So Combs, let me go off script here a tad bit and not poke fun at Andy Reid's health whatsoever. I don't want to do that because I respect the guy and I wish him nothing but the best. But is this how Eric Bieniemy can get a head coaching job in the NFL? Is if Andy Reid is no longer able to coach, and would that be the best choice for Kansas City?
I hope not, because I really want him to be the next head coach of the Chicago Bears.
I don't think he will. I think he would rather go to USC than to Chicago.
Why? Like, if you have the ability to even slightly remotely develop a game plan surrounding Justin Fields, you could take this team to a new level.
I agree.
So I think that Bieniemy in Chicago would be a great fit for both of them. Do I think that the Bears would do that? And I don't. I mean, this is a team that fired Lovie Smith after a winning season to give us 3 years of Eric Trestman and now 4 years of Matt Nagy,
which is crazy to me.
It's so bad. It's so hard. Like I
get it, man. I'm a Chiefs fan. I get it.
I should be laying right next to Andy Reid right now because I can't believe I have not had a heart attack. I can't believe that because over the last 2 days, just the name Matt Nagy puts like this anger inside of me that I just want to burst out. Like, it's just, have you ever seen, you've seen Venom?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like the reverse. Like the Venom just wants to come out and just like eat Matt. Can I eat Matt Nagy?
So I feel like tonight, guys, it's obviously Monday, and Mondays we do have coming out with Combs. So Combs is building up that anger, and at the 8:50 hour, 9:50 here on the East Coast, he will be letting out all of that rage as he comes out of the closet and pronounces that he is actually a Vikings fan. No, I'm totally kidding.
That ain't happening.
But coming out with Combs is coming up here in roughly about an hour and a half. But last thing before we head to break, and then we got Guess Who with Mr. Wyatt Williams at manhour_TWW joining us here at the 8:30 hour, 7:30 Central Time. Combs, who has pissed off the Buffalo Bills? The last 2 weeks, they put up 40-plus points. They are rolling. They're flexing on people. Are they better than they were last year now?
I wouldn't say anybody's made them mad. I wouldn't say that they're better than they were last year because last year they were a really, really good team. I would say that the last 2 weeks they've played Miami and Washington, and now they're about to get Houston, so they're probably going to put up a 50 burger. But then they get Kansas City.
Right.
So I think it's Washington's defense hasn't been what we thought it was going to be so far this season. They just haven't locked in. They haven't been as good. They're giving up a ton of points. They're giving up 29 points a game right now. And so that's a lot of points for the Washington football team. And the Buffalo Bills are just a great team. I mean, they've got a ton of weapons. Josh Allen is a top quarterback in this league, and he's proving it again. So I don't think anybody's made them mad. I just think they're that good.
Yeah, I mean, like, people want to put so much stock into the week one, week one they stumbled and they barely won, or I think they may have even lost. I can't even.
Yeah,
remember.
They lost to the Steelers.
So I mean, like, hindsight now, the Steelers are sucking. So hindsight is 2020. Like, obviously, but like at the time, like, hey, it's a good loss to the Steelers. They're treading water, and they turned it on. So with all that being said, like, you cannot put any stock into week one whatsoever. I mean, hell, can you even put stock into the first quarter of the season, like the first 4 weeks? Just because now with the 17-game schedule, do these 3 games even matter?
Week one, strange things happen in week one. I mean, they just came out flat against the Steelers. They couldn't move the ball. They couldn't stop Pittsburgh in the second half. It was a brutal game for the Buffalo Bills week one, but it's just one of those things. I mean, look what the Saints did to the Packers. Anybody have the Saints beating the Packers by 38? Anybody?
No.
Because I sure didn't.
No, not at all.
And that's the thing. So the things happen in week one, and so you kind of take it for what it is. And they've turned it on since. They've been a better offense since. They've been a better defense since. And the Buffalo Bills are just a good football team. So It's no surprise to me that they did what they did to Miami. No surprise to me that they did what they did to Washington. And they're going to do it again this weekend to Houston. So, they're going to head into Kansas City 3-1. and we'll see what they're made of. You know, when you get a team like Kansas City, who's probably going to be very angry.
Yeah, very, very pissed off. And they just signed Josh Gordon, so they're going to be that much more pissed off because they got
and they're going to be
himself.
high. So they're going to be pissed off, and they're all going to be high.
Game's over 100%.
Yeah.
So before we head to comments here and we head to our first break of the night, I believe you had the Buffalo Bills going 15-2 this season. Do you still have that happening?
I had the Buffalo Bills at 14-3 this season.
Okay, still at 14-3.
Yeah, I could see it still happening, but I think 13-4 might be more realistic now because I still think, you know, they got games against the Chiefs and still got a game against Tampa Bay, so those are two really tough games.
Yeah, two very, very tough games moving forward. But guys, let's go ahead and jump into some of the comments here. So if we head over to the youtube.com/manhour, Blackthorn says the Bills aren't better, their competition is weaker. That's a little...
I mean, Washington, maybe. Yep. I mean, you know, that's a fair statement because we talk about the Denver Broncos and they're 3-0, but I keep saying, yeah, they're 3-0, but they're 3-0 against the Giants, Jets, and Jaguars. Yes. So that's a fair statement.
Right. So Blackthorn also says that the Bills need to show that they can run. Why? It's a passing league.
They can run. Singletary is a very nice running back. They can definitely run the ball.
Yeah, and still, it's still a passing league. You don't need to run.
You don't have to show that you have to run the ball when you're scoring 47 points.
Yeah, very, very true. I saw some stuff from Drew here. Here it is. Drew says, "Howdy, boys. What's going on, Drew?" And then he says that Andy Reid has heat exhaustion, aka dehydration. That's why he is in the hospital, not a stroke or heart complications or anything to that effect. Drew, I kind of feel like that's just kind of hush. You know, like, hey. He's dehydrated. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't that hot in Arrowhead. Yeah.
If that is what it is, though, that's good news.
Yeah, that's very good news, especially for a Chiefs fan. You know, but
yeah,
it is that time here, Combs. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of the night, guys. We got Guess Who coming up with Mr. D. White Williams after the break. We'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse with Brandon Combs. You can find us on Man Hour @_Buck and Man Hour _Combs on the old Twitter machines. This segment of Man Hour is brought to you by Skull Candy. SkullCandy.com. Link is in the description, guys. You guys can get 20% off of your headphones there. So I got my Skull Candy headphones right here, and I got some earbuds for work. So these over the ears cost me about $45, and the ear pods cost me about $21.99. I believe it was with shipping of like $25-30. But click the link in the description. It'll take you directly there. Best headphones that I have had on my ears in a very, very long time. That's skullcandy.com. So Combs, welcome back to the show. And it is time to bring on a guy that we love dearly, a guy that just turned 19 years old, Combs. Can you believe that?
And he's in the middle of a frat party right now.
And he's
joining
middle
us
of a
from the
frat
middle
party.
of a frat party.
Yeah. Mr. The Wyatt Williams. What's going on, T-Dubs?
Nothing, man. Just hanging out. We had an off day from school today, so me and my friend Nathan went and played some golf. So got that in today, and then we're having a little football watch party for tonight. So
Hey,
You know,
you
everybody's kinda
didn't
hanging out.
invite me to play golf, right? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Would you have made it down here for our tea time? I didn't know. I
Dude,
would have
if
invited you.
If you would have told me that you were playing golf, I would have caught a flight.
Yeah.
All right, Combs, we're playing golf tomorrow. How about that?
Okay.
You catch a flight down here from
I gotta
Chi-Town.
work.
Oh, you got to work tomorrow. Okay, okay.
Oh, yeah. And
What'd you do today?
we actually had to
I
pay your
worked, but
maids
I could've
to.
taken
Oh,
today
you,
off.
okay.
Yeah, we were actually hiring your maids to make your bed so you could have a little, like, have your frat party over there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
yeah. I'm playing golf with them tomorrow. They're coming down
The
to.
frat.
With the
Yeah. No, with the maids.
with,
Yeah.
with the maids. Like, is that?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird to say. You're playing golf with the maids. I don't know, but
Are they
guys,
wearing
it
their
is
uniform.
it is time for Guess Who, brought to you by
Always take too
SkullCandy.com.
far.
Brought to you by SkullCandy.com. Link in the description. Be sure to check out the best headphones that you will ever put in or on your ears. Wyatt
meant
knows
golf
all about
uniform, by
putting
the
stuff
way.
in and on his ears.
Do what?
I said I meant golf uniform. Your head's always. You go to college and now your head's in the gutter.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
100%. All right, guys. So Guess Who is a simple game we take back to fifth grade. I'm thinking of a athlete, and these guys have to guess who it is, and they give a little backstory after they guess who it is. So Wyatt, you are like batting 25% at this game, so you get to go first for the night.
Okay. Is it NFC?
No, it is not a NFC football player.
Is it a baseball player?
It is not a baseball player. I got to give Wyatt a little head start in this game because he doesn't know baseball.
Okay. So we're going basketball here. So that means, is it a Western Conference team?
No.
Is it a football player?
Yes.
Oh, well, that. Okay. Jeez. Okay. So then, so it's AFC then. Is it AFC North or South?
No.
Is it Josh Gordon?
It is not Josh Gordon.
I was trying to say,
That'd be a great one though.
dude. Okay, so it's AFC. Is it AFC West?
No.
Oh God, here we go. Let's see. Is it Tua?
It is not Tua. No people on the IR this week.
Oh, it's Mac Jones.
It is not Mac Jones.
Oh, come on.
Is it Zach Wilson?
It is Zach Wilson. Good job, Mr. Beastie Combs. And the reason why we bring up Zach Wilson is because we had a little clip here on the Man Hour, youtube.com/Man Hour, saying that Zach Wilson is trash. Tori was all animate, pumping his chest, saying that Zach is trash. Wyatt on that clip says, you know what? Zach is going to have the best NFL career out of all of these guys. And Combs later in that same week said, you know, Zach is probably better than Trevor Lawrence, better than Mac Jones, and better than Trey Lance as well. So Combs,
He's been better than Trevor Lawrence.
So Combs, is Zach Wilson trash?
No, Zach Wilson's not trash. He plays for the New York Jets, and they just haven't gotten off the ground. He's got no weapons around him, has no offensive line around him. Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson will turn this thing around, but it's going to take a few years. They're not going to be world beaters this year. They might win 5 or 6 games this year, but that's what it's going to be. They are not there yet. Zach Wilson needs more help. Robert Saleh needs to develop that talent, and
He needs to get away from the Jets. Pull a Sam Darnold, go somewhere else, and be good.
Zach Wilson will be good with the New York Jets. Zach Wilson will be the quarterback that takes the New York Jets to a playoff berth.
See, I think Zach Wilson's going to be a good quarterback. I am so out on any quarterbacks being good in New York. When was the last good New York Jets quarterback? Joe Namath?
Mark Sanchez?
I mean, Mark Sanchez was in and out of the league.
They went to an AFC title game.
He had 3 good years and then just fell off. He wasn't a franchise quarterback.
Well, he's a USC
I'll tell you, the last franchise quarterback to spend, to be a for real quarterback for a while there for them is probably it's probably Joe Namath, isn't it?
Geno Smith was there. He was there for a while, wasn't he?
Geno Smith was there for like 8 games.
God.
he played like 8 games over the course of 3 years.
Who was the quarterback before Mark Sanchez? He was there for a while, right?
They had Vinny Testaverde for a little bit. He was good, with the Jets for a little while. They
and
had
the Buccaneers and the Cowboys
and every other team in the league.
Well, think about it. They never really had like a set quarterback situation for the long term for the future.
They had Brett Favre.
Thought they've had it.
They had Brett Favre
many times
for a year,
for 2 years, right? 1 or 2.
It was 1 year, and they went to the Vikings for 2 years, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Anyways, moving on to the next one. Guess Who, brought to you by Skull Candy, skullcandy.com. Link in the description. Combs is up. Sorry, Beastie is up 1-0. Beastie merch coming soon.
Beastie,
you get the first question.
Did you? All right. So, is it a football player?
It is a football player.
Is it NFC?
No.
Is it a quarterback?
No.
Is it a offensive player?
Yes.
Is it the AFC North?
Yes. Ding, 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 ding.
It's not a quarterback, and it is a... I'm sorry, did you say it was or wasn't a defensive player? I forgot.
It is not a defensive player. They play the
so it's
the
offensive
AFC
player,
North.
Not quarterback, AFC. Okay. Najee Harris.
No.
I think it's only one person.
It is not Mixon either, Mr. Blackthorn.
Is it Juju Smith-Schuster?
It is not Juju. He's on the IR now, right?
Yes, that's why I went with him.
Ooh.
I said no IR this week.
Oh,
we're trying to think of like hot topic players. Is it do they play for the Bengals?
They do not play for the Bengals. That trash organization. We got some Cincinnati Bengals in tonight. What's up, Blackthorn?
Is it OBJ?
It is Odell Beckham Jr. 2-0 lead for Beastie Combs. The reason why I bring up Odell Beckham Jr., he played his first game since tearing his ACL, and he looked good. Like, let's just be honest. He looked pretty damn good. Obviously, Landry was out, so Odell really had to step up. So, Combs, I'm going to ask you this first since you won it. Can Landry and Odell gel together as a wide receiver core, or are the Browns going to take a step back when they're both on the field again?
I see what you did there. You didn't go with guys who were injured. You went with guys who are coming off of injury.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
So OBJ, yes, he can gel. I really like the way that they used him against the Bears.
Without Landry,
really,
though.
They could have used anybody and beat the Bears, but the way that they utilized him.
Could they have used Matt Nagy and beat the Bears?
Yeah, they could put Matt Nagy in and beat the Bears. Matt Nagy did beat the Bears yesterday, by the way. So anyway, Odell Beckham Jr., the way that they utilize him in there. Now, once they get Landry back, it's going to take a little bit of targets away from OBJ, and they're going to split him. But I think OBJ's been humbled. I think OBJ's been humbled by his injuries. I think that he knows his role now, and I think he's okay with that. I think he's to the point now where he just wants to win.
Yeah, so why the reason why I bring this up is because last year when we saw Odell Beckham Jr. get hurt, it seemed like the Browns' offense improved. Do you think they're going to take a step back when Landry and Odell are on the same field again?
I mean, I don't think they necessarily take a step back. I think they do take a step back in a way, but by taking a step back and looking at their situation, yes, the offense did look a little better last year without Odell in it, but they also looked really good yesterday with it. So I think that they try and find a way to they try and find their strengths of when he wasn't there and his strengths of when he was there, and try and, form a way to put them together and move the offense in that way.
So many times they say addition by subtraction is better, right? And I think the Cleveland Browns are a damn good team without Odell Beckham Jr. on the field. And I think Odell knows he has to have an MBT type of season to be on the Cleveland Browns next year. So I think they're going to do everything he is going to do everything he can to keep everybody happy, get him the ball, and basically if they don't make the playoffs and Odell Beckham Jr. has a horrible season or even a mediocre season, I think he is out of town. What do you guys think about that?
Nothing surprises me in the NFL. I mean, they drop you at a drop of a dime for if you're having a bad season. So it wouldn't shock me that he'd be out. Somebody will pick him up quick, though.
Wyatt,
for sure.
Thoughts? They're picking him up?
I mean, I question if someone will pick him up. Yes, I do think if they dropped him, someone would definitely pick him up. He's a big playmaker, or has shown signs of being a big playmaker in the past.
He's got great hands.
He's got really good hands. He catches the ball really well.
Probably the best hands in the NFL.
One of the best. I don't know, DeAndre Hopkins probably has the best hands in the NFL.
And Devontae Adams is most cheating.
Devontae Adams is very close on that list as well.
All right, so
Devontae is more of a separation guy, though.
So
he gets separation and then catches the ball.
I do have one more. Do you want an opportunity to redeem yourself and get off this goose egg, or do you want to call it a night?
Come on. You got to try to get at least one. And I'll tell you what.
Let's do this.
I'll only go names. I'll just go straight names. I won't even guess anything but names.
Okay.
No.
Combs, you go first.
This.
I go first?
Yep.
Is it Justin Tucker?
It's not Justin Tucker.
Damn it. Dude, if you would have got that, I would have just logged off. I'm done. I'm out. Peace out. Have a good night.
All right. Come on, Wyatt.
Excuse me.
We got 3 minutes, man. Wrap it up. You can do it.
All right.
Yes,
is
it is a Green Bay
football
Packer.
player?
Yes, it's a Green Bay Packer.
Oh, here we go. It's over.
Is it Devontae Adams?
It's not Devontae Adams.
I feel like there's only one option here. But if I say it and I'm wrong, I feel like there's only is it Aaron Rodgers?
It is Aaron freaking Rodgers, Wyatt. Good job. Way to get off that goose egg. The reason why I bring up Aaron Rodgers is because he said the reason why he grew out his hair is for a Halloween costume.
He said that?
What kind of commitment is that to grow your hair out, look like a freaking homeless person for a Halloween costume?
He did look kind of rough.
Do you have that kind of dedication, Wyatt, to grow your hair like that?
Do I have that? No. I would never mess up my hair
for Halloween.
months.
A guy who's stealing carburetors out is freaking broke down freaking garage. Is that the costume that he's going for?
It's the backup kicker for the Minnesota Vikings that is stealing the Cadillac converters off the Chevys up there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Aaron Rodgers. Either that or Aaron Rodgers. What's that one I saw? Aaron Rodgers looks like the guy who's it's his friend. No, it's his first week at work and he's bumming smokes.
I don't know. But so, Combs, do you have that kind of commitment to grow your hair like that and look like that?
No, man, I can't grow.
You guys can't even grow your hair anymore. What are y'all talking about?
Whoa.
Wyatt, once you can grow a mustache that actually looks like one, feel free to talk.
Oh,
but don't spill no milk on that, man. The cat might lick it off.
Wyatt, we got to let you go, man. Enjoy your watch party. Enjoy college. We'll welcome you back on the Man Hour very, very soon. But tell the people when you plan on coming back. How about that?
I am looking.
We don't really care, Wyatt. Have a good night, guys. We'll be right back here after the break.
What you do?
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse along with Brandon Combs. Now you can find us both on Twitter at man_hour_radio on our Twitter feed. As Drew says, it was the black hole. Yeah, Drew, that break was supposed to loop, but apparently I didn't click the loop button. That is 100% my fault. But guys, we do have a special guest coming up for you guys. This is Kevin. He has a show for us called the Bottom Line. And that's exactly what we're going to do here is we're going to bring him on, and this is the real bottom line with Kevin. But first, guys, this segment is brought to you by Skull Candy, so head over to skullcandy.com. Link is in the description, and check it out. You can get some best headphones out there. So let's go ahead and welcome Kevin and Combs back onto the screen here. Kev, what's going on, man?
What's going on, fellas? I appreciate you guys having me on. I don't get asked to go on many shows. Partly that's my fault. So thank you guys.
Well, first things first is, so here at the Man Hour, it is live, raw, and uncut. We are live right now, and we can say whatever we want. So because, we aren't censored by anything but the FDA, and we get fined if we apparently bring up the word COVID. But that's besides the point.
Great. Look what you did.
Yeah, luckily I can edit that out for the radio. But Kev, tell the people about your show, where they can find it, etc.
So obviously, BellyUpSports.com. It's a Belly Up podcast. We're all part of the same branch, same family. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all the stuff. Any platform that you have that you listen to your podcast, that's where you can find mine. If you want to find it on Twitter, it is at @therealbottom_pod. So it's at @thebottom_pod. My name on Twitter is at @therealkev_0. So if you're trying to find it on Twitter, that's where you find it. But like I said, any platform, any podcast platform is there.
Yeah, and I will have those links in the description at youtube.com/man hour here. So like I said, this will be our Monday weekly segment at 8:45, 7:45 East Coast time, called The Bottom Line with Kev. And basically, he is going to take real world stuff, mix it with some sports stuff, and just basically talk about whatever he wants. So, Kev, go ahead and hit us with your first topic, man.
Well, and first off, also, I apologize for being ill-prepared. Computer's not working. Phone is kind of where we're at, so I do apologize for that. I will be more prepared next time. But topic is number one. One thing I noticed, I read a couple articles, and I was working on an article, decided not to kind of go through with it, but basically talking about the draft stigma that is given to certain quarterbacks. Quarterback number one, for example, we'll talk Deshaun Watson. What was the big thing out of him, or the one knock, right? He won championships, or a championship. He, beat Saban, but the knock was, we don't know if he can look past his first read. And it's funny because Robert Griffin got the same knock. Lamar Jackson got the same knock. Michael Vick, same knock. Jameis Winston, same knock. And the thing about Jameis Winston that was crazy was, of all prospects, he's not the one that, should have been getting that knock. Of all of them that I just named, Jameis was kind of he was considered that kind of can't miss. But even then, it was we don't know after the first read if he's capable of making good decisions. But we didn't hear that from Mark Sanchez or Marcus Mariota or, the dude Jake Locker from Tennessee. So it's just funny because you kind of see the difference in the portrayal in these certain quarterbacks, and there's just something we have in common with all of them. And I don't necessarily like it. I'm not really a huge fan. I'm also not someone who tries to make things super, super serious. So we will go into with the next topic something a little less serious. It's kind of more funny. But this is the one where it's kind of when I have a chance, I do like to bring attention to said topic so that, it's a conversation to be had. That's the whole point of my podcast, is to spark genuine, progressive conversation. It's not to convince anyone of anything or the other. It is purely to spark genuine, progressive conversation.
So, Kev, this is something that I myself, like, I've talked about on this show in the past as well. And one thing for me as a Bears fan, we did a draft night show. I was super excited when they traded up and drafted Justin Fields. And the night that they passed on Deshaun Watson to go get Mitch Trubisky, the second they announced that pick, I turned off the TV. I went to bed. I was angry. And the first thing that I had said when we talked about it that draft night was, I said, the Bears are never going to be a successful organization until they come to the realization that they can actually draft a black quarterback, because that is one of the things that they have never really done. And the fact that they went out and got Justin Fields was great. Now they've got to go get the coach that can actually coach them. That would be a huge benefit for him. But you're right. I mean, that it has been, something that they had, has been a problem when it comes to, the mobile quarterback, the black quarterback. It's always been something that they've talked about. Can they read? Can they do this? One of my knocks on Justin Fields coming out of college was he tends to hold on to the ball too long. And that's still a knock I have on him now in the NFL, is that he's got to learn how to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker. I don't know if that stigma ever goes away, though, because this has been one of those leagues where it's progressing. I mean, we're starting to see a lot more mobile quarterbacks. The mobile quarterback is really starting to take over this league. So I don't know if it'll continue to be a thing. But why do you think that has been a thing? So we got no volume coming out of you right now, Kev.
Yeah. So I think it's been a thing is because of all the players that you said there. Michael Vick, Jackson, etc. Like, these haven't been pocket passers per se. Lamar Jackson as an NFL quarterback still can't. Yeah. Still cannot throw out of the pocket. Let's just be flat out honest. And he is one of the trashiest quarterbacks in the NFL, because he is a running back playing quarterback position.
You stop with the blasphemy right now. He does this every time, Kev. Every time we talk Lamar.
But I don't think that stigma will ever get away, just because when you see these high-profile black quarterbacks, they are on teams like Ohio State. They're saying Justin Fields cannot read his second or third spots on the field. He didn't have to. He had the best freaking receiver on the field, and it was wide open. Why do you want to throw him to second receiver? You don't have to. So the only way that this stigma ever goes away is if, I don't know, the next 5 or 6 years, the best athletes, let's say Michael Vick, Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, they all go to Division II schools that don't have the best athletes, and then they still dominate with a pocket style type of approach. That's the only way the stigma will ever go away. Kev, this is your segment. What are your thoughts?
And so you're absolutely right. I don't think the stigma is going away, and that's because the top tier athletes aren't going to Division II schools or Division III schools. Also, if I want to be honest with you, I'm a little bit on the train with you on Lamar Jackson as far as a quarterback. But we can talk about that later.
Yeah. No, facts.
I think that he's a great football player. I'm not gonna call him a great quarterback. That's another conversation for another time
next week.
But my thing is back to Combs, when you ask why I think that is. I think naturally, people tend to fear or cast off things that they don't understand, or that they don't, like things they can't figure out, right? They don't understand. We call people like Kyrie Irving weird because what he's saying doesn't match our normal opinion. The NFL for so long has been a league where winning one type of way works. It used to be ground and pound. My quarterback didn't have to be that great, but I needed to have a great running back and dominant in the trenches, offensive and defensive line. And it wasn't until somebody decided, okay, yeah, I don't mind being the crazy one, to change the game. Now it's a passing game. It was stagnant quarterback. There was a time where Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, like, look at the quarterbacks I'm naming here, stagnant quarterbacks. And someone said, well, I'm going to go get this Vic kid, or I'm going to go get, there's a quarterback in the NFL has just been something that when you're looking for, and this is every position, honestly, in all sports, when you're looking for a quarterback, what are you looking for? Well, I don't want 5'11", Kyler Murray, unless he can do ridiculous things no one else can do. I want 6'6", Josh Allen with huge arm,
right,
huge potential. And the black mobile quarterbacks don't fit that. And when people are really, really good with their legs, and you have to find, and all they do is make plays, but in the world we live in, you got to find something. You want to say, oh, he's running because here's the biggest thing with Deshaun Watson. He holds the ball too long. But before that, it was, at first they said he can't read past the first read because he would look, if it's not open, he would take off. If he saw man coverage, he pretty much would drop back to take off. They said, oh, he's not reading the coverages. So then he said, okay, I'm going to start reading the coverages. I ain't got no offensive line, but you want me to sit here and read the coverages? That's what I'm going to do. So then he holds the ball too long, right? It's lose-lose. But he had the whole press conference where he sat there, reporter asked him a question, and he highlighted exactly what he's looking at on the field. He says, if the safety comes down, you do this. If he stays up, you do the blah, 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 right? And people praised him for it. But it's like, no, it was always there. But when he stood there and waited for the reads to come with no offensive line, he was holding the ball too long. When he took off because he had no offensive line, he can't make the reads.
Yeah.
And that's
I don't
just
know what the
something
scouts were thinking about when they were talking about him not being able to do, because all I saw all throughout his college career was a quarterback that knew how to win ball games and a quarterback that was ready to come into the NFL and dominate the way that he did it against Alabama in that championship game. The kid was just a proven winner. I hate it. Like, God, I don't know how the scouts that said Trubisky is a better draft pick than Deshaun Watson still have a job. If they still have a job, I don't know. I don't know how it's possible.
And it's crazy because when you get the quarterback position wrong in the NFL, when you're using a top pick, a number 1, 2, 3, first round, whatever pick on a quarterback, and you get that wrong, you set your franchise back 5 years every time you do that.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. If the Bears would have went Watson, which the crazy part about that draft was, like, I thought it was a no-brainer. I know I'm no scout and I know I'm no, like, but I was just like, one, let's be honest, I didn't really know nothing about Mahomes. He was playing at Texas Tech.
Nobody did. And he was a losing quarterback at Texas Tech.
He was losing.
Average.
But I'm watching Deshaun Watson do things to Nick Saban that the only other quarterback I've seen do that is Johnny Manziel, but he obviously doesn't have Johnny Manziel qualities, right? In terms of the immaturity and things like that. I was like, he says all the right things. He's got the body for it. He's mobile. He gives you things that a lot of quarterbacks don't. And he's well coached, right? At Clemson. And like you said, he was a winner. And I think that sometimes that's a bit overblown, but there's a reason why Tom Brady goes to teams. They go from 8-8 to Super Bowl winners. Like, there's something to be said about, such and such is a winner. Like, I think that term was overused with, like, Tim Tebow, but there's something.
Tim Tebow was a winner, though. I mean, he never got a chance after winning with Denver.
Yeah, look, listen. I'm not going. I don't care if you win a playoff game with 3 completions. I'm not putting that on you. And the whole, well, he's a winner though. No.
Tom Brady wins them all the time with 3 interceptions.
That's fair. That's fair. But Tom Brady also comes back from up 28-3. I mean, down 28-3, right. And Tom Brady does the stuff against the Seahawks. And when he gets the ball, it's over with. Even though the Seahawks should have won that one, by the way, that was nuts.
So maddening.
But back to the topic. I was so surprised that, like, Deshaun was not. Like, I thought it was obvious, and I'm a North Carolina fan, and Mitch Trubisky was solid in college. He was better than Bryn Renner, who was the quarterback before him, and he was better than Marquise Williams, the quarterback after him, but he only had 1 year of college, and we didn't really know what he was. And I think that helped him. They thought, well, hey, he's closer to that prototypical what we want in a quarterback than Watson is. I think that's really what it comes down to. A lot of these owners are old school owners. You know, a lot of these teams don't choose to have black quarterbacks.
Virginia McCaskey's only 104. She's not that old school.
So going back on topic here, while you were thinking, like my mind started to like spin here. When you think of a 6'5" white guy, what kind of position on any like on a football field or a basketball court do you think he is going to be? In my head, a quarterback and a post guy, right? When you think of a 6'5" black guy, what kind of player do you think he is going to be on the football field? A wide receiver. Yep. On the basketball court, a shooting guard, you know, two guard. So with that being said, I mean, yes, it is a judgment by your height and color of your skin, but like I think that is why that mold will probably never be broken, because you will never get a 6'5" black quarterback. They will always be 6'3" and under. They will always, like, if you're 6'5" and over, you are playing basketball or wide receiver.
Jamarcus Russell was huge.
That is a big part of that is because, you know, who's the black quarterback now who's pocket passer more so than anything else? We're talking Teddy Bridgewater. And Mahomes is a unicorn. I really don't count him in any situations when we say these things. He's got the strong arm. He's got the mobility. He got to stand in the pocket and light you up. He doesn't count. We can't talk about him when we say these.
So your pocket passer, Russell?
Russell Wilson is pretty solid too, but is a pretty solid answer as well. But you got to remember, Russell Wilson be moving now. Russell Wilson holds the ball a long time, and a lot of his plays come off of he's just sitting there spinning around in the backfield, doing all this stuff, and defensive ends can't tackle him.
In Russell Wilson's defense, he holds the ball for a long time because they give him 35 seconds to throw it.
Super long time.
Yeah, his offensive line gives him a ton of time to throw it.
I'm not sure. And your point about basketball, the NBA is a little bit different because, like JJ Redick is 6'4". Like 6'5" at this point is a shooting guard, and they want your point guard. You want big guys. Right. But football, absolutely. When I think 6'5", fast, I want you a receiver, especially if you got hands. But now these, you know, it's all going to be about just because you're 6'5", if you play quarterback in college, you're going to draft to play quarterback. This is why Lamar Jackson played quarterback at Louisville for 2 or 3 years, however long it was. And then they were like, hey, do you want to come play wide receiver? Because, to your point, he had that body style of like, yo, he is super fast.
Yeah.
We can put him, and he was like, no, like I'm a quarterback. Hey, do you want to play running back?
Got a pocket passer?
Yes, and that's a great kind of counter to what I was saying, because I'm a Cowboys fan, Dak Prescott, but even coming out of Mississippi State, he wasn't a pocket passer. He was kind of like that read option power football, very similar to Cam at Auburn, not quite nearly as good. So for all listening, listen. I'm not saying that Dak in college was Cam in college, but that was him. He didn't really develop that. Let me sit here and read the reads until he came into a Jason Garrett offense that was all about timing and rhythm and things like that.
Right.
So to bring our conversation full circle, I agree. I don't think that stigma is going to go away. I don't know what has to happen, but a lot of the owners are old school, played old school football, have old school philosophies. And they're the ones who, when you run a business, you bring people in your business, you hire those who can help carry out your vision. So I'm not bringing a coach who just completely thinks the game different than me. I'm going to bring somebody who I at least, I like where his head is at. His head is near where my head is at. We got some things in common. We can make this work. That's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. So guys, this is our segment of the night on our Monday show. It is the bottom line with Kevo. You can find him at the real Kev _0 on Twitter. This will be our weekly Monday segment at 8:45 p.m. East Coast time. So we talked about the stigmatism of the black and white quarterback. What is next on your list tonight, Kev?
Let's talk about COVID. We talk about COVID for a second.
We cannot say the word COVID because we're gonna
Oh
yeah.
crap!
No,
Oh.
yeah, no. You're totally fine. Yeah, we'll just say Rona. We'll just
Okay,
say
let's
Rona.
talk about Kyrie Irving. Can we talk about Kyrie Irving?
Yeah, we can talk.
That's a way to
Kyrie.
say that without saying,
Oh God.
So did you guys see that
Yeah.
craziness that's going on with Kyrie? And
So what I saw was he was basically saying he wasn't going to play home games in New York because he wasn't going to get vaccinated. Was like is that what we're going to go down?
right. So basically, because New York has this, or Brooklyn anyway, Barclays Center has this. Golden State, the Warriors and the Bay, they have this where employees have to be vaccinated to work the games. And so players are like count as employees in this. And so therefore, if you're not vaccinated, you can't play home games. So the Warriors are going through this with Andrew Wiggins, who does not want to get vaccinated. He said he's not getting it unless he's forced. And Kyrie, who here's his answer. I'm not getting into that. That's a personal decision, but like we know what it is. Wouldn't be able to play in Brooklyn because they kind of have the same mandates. I think, and I haven't done all the research on this, but I think that they're not forcing opposing teams to. So, for example, Wiggins can go play at Barclays, even though he's not vaccinated, and Kyrie could play in Golden State. They just can't play at their home games.
So that makes zero sense to me.
I was gonna say that's like stupid weird to me, but whatever. So, here's my thing. That's not really the thing that's crazy to me. The thing that's crazy is apparently Kyrie Irving, there's an article that was just published. Apparently he followed and is liking Instagram posts of a conspiracy theorist who basically says that the government is using the vaccine to connect black people to a supercomputer to do Satan's will.
This is the same Kyrie that thought the earth was like flat.
This is Kyrie who says, I don't know if the earth is round. I want to have a conversation about it.
Right.
This is the same Kyrie who, is doing the whole sage around the court before the games, even though it's not a home game. Kyrie is definitely a different soul.
He definitely thinks outside the box, and like I love challenging people's thoughts. Like I'm not saying you're wrong, but tell me why you're right. And I definitely feel like he is that type of person as well. But if you want to get into the aspects of the conspiracy theory stuff, that is out there all over with the gene mutations and this and this and this, and like why are some people getting sick, why are some people not, I get that 100%, but let me talk about the whole game aspect of it first. When it starts affecting the bottom line of the arena, I forgot the name of the arena, and the bottom line of the Berkeley and the bottom line of the Nets, etc., they're going to play. Just because what do people come to the Barclays Center for and buy merchandise and hot dogs and drinks? They want to see Kyrie. Much like Cole Beasley for the Buffalo Bills said he wasn't going to get the vaccination. And where's he? He's playing on the field right now. After the Buffalo Bills said they would cut anybody that didn't get vaccinated. So I'm calling a 100% bluff on everything that they're saying. Like there is no way that Andrew, let's say that LeBron James said, I'm not going to get the shot. And obviously California and the city of LA, they're the most left-winged people out there, right? And they're all pro-vaccine, yada, yada, yada. If LeBron James says, I'm not going to get vaccinated, they're like, well, you're not going to play. That is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
sticking that is like sticking a concrete pillar in some in some mud and expecting it to like stand. Not going to happen whatsoever. I
No,
mean,
you guys are being nice. So look, Kev, you called them a different soul. Buck, you said I'm just gonna, I'll let him believe what he wants to believe. Tell me why you're right. No, look. Some people spark conversation because they want to have legitimate conversation that moves something forward. And then some people spark conversation because they want attention. Kyrie Irving's a clown. Let's just call it what it is. Kyrie Irving, if you're listening to the Man Hour right now, you're a clown. Like, you don't look, you're not going to go there and say, oh well, they're putting everybody into some supercomputer and they're stop it. Look, I get it. Okay, I'm one of the biggest people out there. I completely agree that this is a very politically driven situation that we're in. But there's a certain point where thinking realistically,
tread lightly, Combs,
and thinking like some crazy like midgets with knives are gonna drop out of your ceiling and they're gonna abduct you and take you to their leader. Like, it's not. Kyrie Irving is just look. He looks for a lot of attention. He does it a lot. And that's what he does, and that's what he's doing again. That's where Kyrie Irving is at.
Is he saying they're like trying to make some type of superhuman? Is that what it is?
Let me clarify. He's not saying this.
Well, it's a
he
conspiracy
is just liking posts.
Okay.
And this conspiracy theorist has said this.
Who is this? I want to follow this person.
I don't know.
Start liking stuff,
but look, get on Twitter, search Kyrie Irving's conspiracy theory. You'll find it. So, but let me be clear to the people. It isn't Kyrie saying this. He's just liking these posts. Now, here's the thing with just celebrities in general, people with these huge platforms. They don't understand the weight of their words. They think, oh, well, it's not my job for little Miss whoever to see my crazy music video and want to go do this in the streets. It's her parents' job to parent her and make sure she's not trying to pick that up. But they don't really understand, like, celebrities, and I'm not saying that this is Kyrie, but just like a lot of celebrities are so out of touch with the regular world, right, the common world, that it's really hard for them to really understand that there are people in this world, regardless of whether it's right or not, there are people in this world who are going to take what you say to heart. And, well, hey, Kyrie's doing it, and I respect him, and my son looks up to him, and this, that, and the third. Like, and Kyrie's saying, hey, whatever. He's liking things about conspiracy theories, which is going to make the media, which means my son's going to see it when we're watching sports TV and listening to sports radio. And now my son's got this crazy, like, people have to understand, like, hey, I know it's not my job, but I can't be out here talking reckless.
Right.
I'm not here to call him a clown. Combs, you got it. I'm not going to call him a clown. I will say different because it's different. I've been trained in trying to stay politically correct, but he has to be careful. He's very in tune with his Native American roots, because I think his mom is Native American, and he's really in tune with giving back. I fully believe that his heart is in the right place. Maybe the way he's going about it, maybe the things he believes, to me or to us, are a little out there, out in left field. I do think his heart's in the right place. I've seen nothing malicious from him as far as, like, he wants to give back, and things like that. I just think that he's not. There's better ways. There's better ways.
Yeah, and you are exactly right. I like about how the celebrity or the sports athlete doesn't maybe necessarily have tune with his inner normal self, right? Just like what LeBron James tweeted, about the Cincinnati cop about a year ago now, right? Like, it's been it caused a crazy uproar, but we're not going to get into that because I definitely don't want to get shut off tonight. But Kev, that is going to be it for you for tonight, guys. So you guys can find Kev on Twitter at @therealkev_0 on the old Twitter machine. Of course, find the bottom line with Kev on all streaming platforms. But give a big shout out before you head out, Kev.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the fans. Shout out to you guys for allowing me to come join. This is fun. I'm glad we're doing this every Monday. Like I said, I'm a bit distracted. My computer was having problems. The Cowboys game is on. I'm just all over the place. But I'm here. I'll be more prepared next week. Thank you guys for allowing me to join.
So
shout out again.
You're in North Carolina and you're a Cowboys fan?
Yeah. Look,
wait. Are you a Yankees fan too?
I don't really watch a lot of baseball. My dad's a Yankees fan, so when I root for people, I actually root for the Dodgers.
Are you LeBron James?
Am I Rodgers?
All right, man. Thank you for joining us, Kev. Guys, we'll be right back here on the Man Hour.
Thank you,
all right, man. So that's basically how it's going to work. Like each week, like you have a 15 to a half hour little thing there, and you do your thing.
Yeah,
I like the way that goes, man. I like that segment. I like that idea for your podcast. That's how you do all your podcasts.
Every single one. I talk about, and like my point is, like I just try to. I want to spark progressive conversation. Obviously, we were kind of roasting Kyrie a little bit, whatever. That's cool because that's fun. But like when I talk about that stigma of, I don't really want to make it a race thing. I want to make it a conversational thing. Let's talk about, because I've talked about how NFL and NBA owners, with the collective bargaining stuff, like how things go like that. Like there's just players wanting NFL players not having guaranteed contracts, like that kind of stuff. Just anything.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhauser with Brandon Combs. Now, you can find us on Twitter at manhour_buck and manhour_combs. Obviously, on Twitter, you can find us on youtube.com/manhour and facebook.com/manhour as well. We are on all social media platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everything that we can possibly be on. We are trying to be much more active on there. So be sure to follow us all on the old Twitter machine. So guys, tonight this last segment is brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Head over to thrivefantasy.com and use promo code MANHOUR on the match up to $50 on your first deposit. So that's thrivefantasy.com, promo code MANHOUR. You can also download that on Android and iOS devices. So let's go ahead and bring Combs back onto the show here. No, that's not Tori.
We're on TikTok?
We are on TikTok. Man Hour Sports Talk, man. Man Hour Sports Talk. So
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, you have to check that out because I do upload little clips on there and game picks. And what you guys don't know is the guys, we break the 16 or the 15, 16 games out each week, and we all pick a games and tell us what team is going to win. And bada bing, bada boom, we upload a little clip, and it's there. So
it's on TikTok.
It's on the TikTok, man.
I'm gonna have to. Man.
No more girls shaking butts on TikTok is now.
No, I watch
It is
all the
now Tori
comedians,
shaking
man.
his butt on TikTok. That's
I
what
watch
it's all
all the
about.
comedians. The funny stuff is where it's at on TikTok.
Yeah, I love Jason Banks. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
His
God.
shit cracks me up.
I loved it. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
So you want to know what else is funny? That segment that we just did. It wasn't funny by like, you
That
know,
was a good
haha funny, but it was just
Yeah.
like funny, like, man, like I can actually think like that and like not get, you know, scratching
Yeah.
eyes and, you know, all that stuff for like my thoughts.
Right.
And yeah,
Right.
I mean,
And,
Kev
and the
definitely-
great, and the thing that really, I think that helps him, is that he's not a white guy doing it. Because
Yeah.
if that was a white guy doing that, it'd be a totally different
Yeah.
reaction to it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So hey, he seems like a really down to earth dude. We had a really good conversation with him. I look forward to doing that every Monday.
Yeah, so that is the real bottom line with Kev here on the segment of the Man Hour at 8:45 East Coast time every Monday moving forward here. So guys, but it is time to dive back into some shop talk, some sports headlines here. Shop talk is coming up here in about a half hour, actually about 15 minutes here. We're a little behind schedule, but Combs, it is time to talk about the title of the episode, the headliner, the big line news, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals flexing on the NFL, saying, look at us as they beat down the Pittsburgh Steelers. Combs, are the tides turning in the NFC or the AFC North? Are the Cincinnati Bengals the best team in the North?
Or are the Pittsburgh Steelers what we thought they were?
A 10 and 7 playoff bound team?
They're 1-2.
Yeah.
And you know, they're a Buffalo Bills not coming to play week 1 away from being 0-3.
Ooh, good point.
And I had them at 5-12 this year, or 6-11, somewhere in that ballpark. The Pittsburgh Steelers aren't a very good team, and the Bengals, we thought they were going to be better this year. I had them being better this year. I had the Cincinnati Bengals being 8-9 this year. I had them beating the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. It's no surprise to me that they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it's more of a shock that they lost to the Bears last week. You know,
Right.
but they get Jacksonville this week, okay, and they're going to be 3-1, and then they got to play Green Bay after that. That's going to be the test. That's going to be the test that'll tell you where Green Bay stands, or I'm sorry, where Cincinnati stands. If they can compete, if they could play up with Green Bay, then I might believe in them. You know what I mean? They're a lot like the Denver Broncos right now. The
Right.
Denver Broncos are a team where they're 3-0, and they did what they were supposed to do. They beat the team they were supposed to beat. But I want to see how they play against the good teams. And that's what we're going to see here in a couple weeks for Cincinnati. We're going to see what Cincinnati can do against the Green Bay Packers, who are a very good team. We're going to get to see what they do against the Baltimore Ravens twice. You know, we're going to get to see what they do against the Cleveland Browns twice. They've got the Raiders on the schedule, the Niners on the schedule, the Chargers on the schedule, the Chiefs on the schedule.
Not an
They've
easy
got a tough schedule.
Yeah.
No. So we're going to see whether or not the Bengals are for real really, really quick.
Yeah. So,
And
sorry.
I'm not sure they are.
So, few things that I do before the show is like, obviously, like, we prep, and one things that I look for the title of the show, and then I go and search stuff on YouTube, on Google, and I read and I listen to stuff, etc. This is coming from a Cincinnati Bengals podcast. Yeah, a Cincinnati Bengals podcast. That's all I do is I root for the Cincinnati Bengals 100%. You know what they
Wait,
said?
They have a whole podcast. for
They
that?
have a whole podcast, Combs. And you know what?
God.
You know what they said? They said this team is all smoke and mirrors, and if it wasn't for some fluke plays, they would be 0-3 right now. This is coming from a Cincinnati fan base, that talks nothing but Cincinnati football. I'm like,
Come on, fluke plays though.
Joe Burrow is pretty damn good, guys. Let's just be honest. He coming back from a horrific knee injury after getting battered last season. The Bengals did nothing in the draft to protect his ass besides drafting a wide receiver, and somehow their old line got better. Their receiving core got better. Mixon is showing that he is a solid running back now. Guys, the Cincinnati Bengals, if I'm playing the stock market, Combs, I am buying them, because maybe not this year, but next year, Combs, they might be a team that you don't want to mess with. This when we talk about the best of the worst teams, yes, the Lions might be there as well, but the Cincinnati Bengals might be the best of the worst teams. This is going to be your best 3-15 or 3-14 team that you have ever seen. They could have a record number of 3 to 4 point games where they lose, just because they aren't quite there yet. They don't know how to know how to win.
I don't think that they're going to be world beaters. I don't think they're going to win the North. I don't think they're going to win 10 games, 11 games, 12 games, anything like that. But I don't think they're smoke and mirrors. I think they're a young team that's just getting better as they go. You look at week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings, Joe Burrow was 20 of 27, 261 yards, 2 touchdowns. Joe Mixon carried the ball 29 times for 127 yards. Jamar Chase had 100 yards receiving, and they won that game 27-24 against the Vikings in overtime. Then, yes, they lose to the Bears last week, which just was an aberration.
Which they lost to a great quarterback in Andy Dalton.
Justin Fields. Andy Dalton was out after the first quarter.
Still playing.
So Joe Burrow was still 19 of 30, still threw for 2 touchdowns. He just had that blip where he threw like 3 straight picks on 3 straight passes. Yeah. That Bears defense is pretty damn good. And then you get into week 3 where they play against the Steelers. And Joe Burrow is 14 of 18, 3 touchdowns. Joe Mixon has 90 yards rushing. Like, this isn't just, a couple of fluke plays. These are put together plays. They've got a game plan and they're executing their game plan. They're doing the things that they need to do to not lose. If Joe Burrow doesn't throw those 3 interceptions in a row against the Bears, they're probably 3-0.
Yeah.
And so,
well,
I don't think that they're smoke and mirrors. I think they're a young team that are going to make a lot of mistakes, but they're going to win a lot of games too. So I still like them at 8-9.
Yeah, as a wise man once said it, is you have to learn how to lose before you can learn how to win. So I think this is the not the Cleveland Browns. I mean, they had a lot of losing seasons, but this is the Cincinnati Bengals year to kind of take it on the chin, right? Like,
call before you walk, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So with that being said, on the flip side of the coin, you brought up the Pittsburgh Steelers and like how bad they are. I mean, let's just be flat out honest. They are not looking very good at all. Ben Roethlisberger looks old. Their receiving core and their whole team seems to kind of be rebelling against him. Should the Pittsburgh Steelers
the ball 58 times yesterday?
Yeah. Which is not the Pittsburgh Steelers' MO whatsoever. like you draft a running back like Najee, maybe not Najee Harris isn't the running back that we thought he could be. Could that be why they're throwing 60 balls 60 times a game?
I don't know, man. But Ben Roethlisberger completed almost 40 of them.
Yeah,
I mean it's 38 of 58. Like he was not horrible. He did throw a couple of picks. But he was not horrible. He was trying to make some things happen. I don't know that the Pittsburgh Steelers have what it takes to get over this, though. I just don't. They've got a really strong schedule. They are one of those teams that I've felt like for a long time, like they were going to struggle. And I feel like this team is going to still be there and they're still going to struggle. So I don't like the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. I don't like where they're headed. I think Big Ben is hanging on too long. They've got a tough schedule. They've got now they lose to the Bengals. Don't get any easier next week against the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
And then you've got the Denver Broncos, who are probably going to be either 3-1 or 4-0 heading in there. And then they've got Seattle and Cleveland. Then they get a couple of bye weeks with the Bears and the Lions, but then it's right back to business with the Chargers, Bengals, Ravens, Vikings, Titans.
Did you say
Chiefs.
A bye week with the Bills?
No, Bears and Lions.
Okay, I just said Bills. I'm like, I don't think that play.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
The Pittsburgh Steelers they are what I thought they were, which is a 5-12 team.
Yeah, and so many people they're putting this asterisk by like, oh, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, yada yada yada, and this is going to be the same thing
now
this year. So when Combs, I'm going to take your words and I'm going to say that you said that Big Ben is hanging on too long, and I do and agree to an extent. So if that, like, let's just say Big Ben is hanging on too long, and he has a torn pec or a bruised pec, or I don't know what his injury is, but it's something with like with his pec. And no, it is not his heart. Big Ben has a lot of heart. Should the Steelers go get out a quarterback like Cam Newton, Nick Foles, Mitchell Trubisky, should they be looking at a quarterback in this kind of trade period when you still have time to really acclimate him into the offense before Big Ben does get seriously hurt from taking all those hits?
Yeah, and they absolutely should. They should look at, I don't know about a Mitch Trubisky because I still don't believe in the kid.
Right.
But you could look at, a couple of backups right now that you could bring in that could at least hold down the fort until you get the guy. Here's a curveball, and we talk about this guy a lot. Why not make the move and mortgage the future on Deshaun Watson? Deshaun Watson in Pittsburgh is I mean,
everything,
I like that.
Everything makes sense, but the financial situation. I don't know what their financial situation is in Pittsburgh whatsoever. I mean, that's that's not my cup of tea. I don't look at all that crap. But I feel like they paid Juju. Hell, they just gave TJ Watt $100 million. So I don't think they have the capital, Combs, to bring him on. But even if they did, let's say they brought him on right now, would the Pittsburgh Steelers even be a playoff contending team?
So the Pittsburgh Steelers have $12 million in available cap space.
Okay.
That is plenty of money.
But
go get
no, it's not. He's making $100 million over the next
$12 million
5 years.
Cap space this season.
Right.
$12 million in cap space this season. So he's making what'd you say he's making?
It's like $100 million over the next 6 or 7 seasons, right? So it's like $25 or $35 million a season. You're $20 million over cap.
I don't think that's what he's making per season. I think a lot of that was probably in incentives. I think a lot of that was probably because that's what the NFL does, right? They don't.
That's what
they don't guarantee
Mahomes,
their
right?
contracts. They don't do, they don't do any of that. They do a lot of incentive laden deals, and they do a lot of things that allow you to have the cap space once the season starts.
So you are exactly right. Deshaun Watson's base salary this season is 10.5.
Okay. Yeah, so that's, I mean, why not? I mean, you're going to have to give up draft picks. You're going to have to give up, starting talent because that's what they're asking for.
Right.
But doesn't mean you have to give up your top starting talent. It doesn't mean you have to give up, look.
I think in theory they would want like a Juju or a Claypool, and with like a Najee Harris. Like you would think they would. You could
give up Juju and be fine on this team.
Think so?
Oh, absolutely.
So we seen they've always had that 1-2 punch. Juju really excelled when Antonio Brown was there. Once Antonio Brown left, Juju kind of sucked, right? And then Claypool came in. Juju became the two guarding receiver, and then Claypool had a breakout year.
But I mean, they still got Deontay Johnson. Okay, they still got James Washington. Those are two very good wide receivers. I like Zach Gentry too. Right now, isn't really seeing much playing time, but I think once he gets the ability to get that playing time, I think he's going to be just fine. But if you go ahead and you trade a Juju Smith-Schuster, or hell, even give up a Deontay Johnson in that trade, and then you go and you look back and I mean, obviously you're not giving up TJ Watt, but you can give up a Terrell Edmonds or a Joe Hayden or a Minka Fitzpatrick and still be fine on that defense.
Would you give up TJ Watt though? I mean, like it seems like every time somebody signs a big, every time somebody signs this big deal, this hangnail has been bothering me for the last year.
Maybe it makes sense if you're going to take on that much money to give up that much money.
Yeah.
I mean, but I wouldn't give up TJ Watt. But you could give up other pieces, you can give up the draft picks, and you can go get this guy who turns you into. Look on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I have as a 5-12 team, with Deshaun Watson as their quarterback, 12-win team and Super Bowl contender.
How about this? What would be the irony of this if Deshaun Watson went to Pittsburgh as a trade deal for TJ Watt, and TJ Watt ended up in Houston? What irony would that be, Combs? That
JJ would cry.
That would be absolutely ridiculous. So let's go ahead and get into some shop talk here, guys. We have quite a few comments to address here. So if you guys want to ask anything, let us know in the youtube.com/man hour section here, and we'll go through all the comments before coming out with Combs is coming up here in about 5 to 10 minutes here on the Man Hour. So Drew says Kevin gives his segment more credibility, which I think we do agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
And then Drew says, how about Brady going back to New England next week? Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. We will be diving that deep into that later, like in the week, but Combs, you may not be on for the rest of the week. So like you brought up the question here. Is this going to be the biggest Sunday night game ever, like as far as rating wise goes?
Yeah, I would imagine it's going to compete for it. I'm gonna watch. I mean, I'm gonna watch anyway, no matter who's playing. But that's gonna be fun to me. Like to see Tom go back and especially if they're winning, because Patriots fans jump off the ledge faster than any team in the world.
Yeah, they do.
So I can't wait to listen to Boston radio on Monday morning.
I can't wait to listen to Soup Boss or Hoffy or
yeah, and watching Tom Brady come back and beat up New England would be fun. What wouldn't be fun is if he goes back to New England and lays an egg, right? He goes back to New England and lays an egg.
What would be more entertaining, though? The Bucks that are going 17-0, returning everybody, start the season off 2-2, and the Patriots, the almighty Patriots, are now 3-1 with Mac Jones, or the opposite?
Man, that's a tough one.
Either way, it is going to be must talk.
It's going to be fun to talk about.
Either way, it's going to be must talk.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. Like Tom going back to New England, it's just going to look weird too, right?
Yeah.
Tom in New England in a different uniform.
Yeah.
And I really, the only thing that could be cooler than this would be, and as much as I don't want to see it happen because I don't want to see them back in the Super Bowl, but a Patriots versus Buccaneers Super Bowl, I think would be just as fun. To see Tom Brady versus Bill Belichick, right?
What would be more? Excuse me. What would be more heartbreaking for Patriots fans? A beatdown of 50-3 or a tie?
God. I think it would probably be the tie.
Oh, like we aren't good enough to beat Brady.
Yeah,
I would rather get my ass kicked than freaking tie, man. I hate ties.
Yeah, but at least if you get your butt kicked, then you feel like you never had a chance. If you tie, you at least you're like, damn, we were right there. If we only did this different, if we only did that different.
I'm not good enough to win though.
You know, they lose 50-3. It's gonna be like, oh, well, it was Tom, same old Tom. Why did we let Tom go?
Yeah.
Why didn't we fire Belichick instead and keep Tom? We kept the wrong guy. That's what's gonna be all over New England.
So,
oh God, I can't wait.
Will this ever end the who needed who more? Did Bill need Tom or Tom need Bill more?
No, because I still think it's a stupid argument.
Yeah.
I still think that, for one, you're never going to know the answer to that. And for two, I think they needed each other.
It was a perfect storm. We talked about it. It's a perfect storm. Yeah.
It was just, I mean, you have one of the greatest coaches of all time and the greatest quarterback of all time on the same field at the same time in the perfect system. Like, it was a perfect storm.
Yeah, so Monday show, guys, we'll definitely be diving deep into that game 100% because we might have to get Hoffy on just to talk, especially if the Patriots do get their asses whooped. That we definitely need him on just so you can rub it in their face a little bit.
Yeah, but he'll come on in his Tampa Tom jersey, though.
Yeah. Isn't that ridiculous? So, hey, over under Sunday Night Football, the NBC crew shows at least 30 Tom Brady Patriots jerseys in the game.
Oh, over.
Over. Everybody's gonna be
they're gonna show people wearing the Brady Buccaneers jersey. Here's one. Over under 3 jerseys that are split in half Tampa, half New England. Tom Brady jerseys.
I'll go under. I'll go under.
I'm gonna go over.
Okay. Well, that's so. More comments here. Drew says the Bengals are similar to the Raiders, and I asked him, "What do you mean by that?" And then
the Raiders are better.
And then Drew comes back and says both teams used to have and are accommodated to losing. They both have improved to where they are borderline between good and below average.
I'm gonna say that the Raiders are more real than the Bengals are. The Raiders, I believe, can compete in that AFC West. I believe that the Raiders are finding their stride, and I think the Raiders are really good. I think the Raiders are the real deal. Watch out for 10-11 wins from the.
You guys are missing the point. Last year, the Raiders started just like this. They were 6-2 to start out the season. How they finished the year out? 8-8. Same old guys. The Raiders are still the Raiders. They will still drop their 6 of the final 7 games and miss the playoffs. And the Chiefs run the West. Just face it. Raiders. I don't care if they're in first place or whoever's in first place. It doesn't matter.
Who's in last place right now in the
the Kansas City Chiefs? I do believe.
Okay.
But I'm asking for a friend. They've been back-to-back Super Bowls.
They have. But we were talking about last year, or are we talking about now?
Yeah, you are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Also, Miami Dolphin fans, Javier, please move past 1985. That'd be fantastic.
Poor Javier. Man.
Poor Javier. But Combs, it is that
stop
special.
betting on the Dolphins, Javier.
Yeah,
stop betting on them.
Stupid, man. Stupid. And stop betting $500. Be more responsible, Javier.
I know. He's lucky I didn't take his money a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I really should have, but I was being nice.
All right. So, Combs, it is that special time of night when I give you the solo shot. Coming out with Combs. Are you ready, good sir?
I'm always ready.
All right, guys. Coming out with Combs, brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Head over to thrivefantasy.com. Use promo code MANHOUR. Combs, let her have it.
Oh, we're not going to break?
Nope.
Oh, God. I thought we were going to break. All right. So coming out with Combs. Look, guys, we knew it was coming. You knew what I was going to talk about. I wasn't going to let this go. Matt Nagy is hot garbage. He's just garbage. Look, the guy says the same thing every single week and never alters his game plan. Every single week. I took a look at the tape and we weren't very good. No kidding, Matt. Cool. What else you got? We're gonna look, see if we can find out the reasons why we're not very good right now. Well, Matt Nagy, I'll tell you what. I've got an extra mirror in my closet upstairs. I will go ahead. I will take it out. I will mail it to you at Soldier Field or Hallis Hall, wherever you want me to mail it to you. You hang that sumbitch up in your office. You stand right in front of it. Yeah, look at it. And there's your reason why. You suck, Matt Nagy. You are horrendous. You can't change your game plan to alter it for the first franchise quarterback the Bears have ever had. You want him to continuously do the things that you want to do, even though they don't work. 9 times this man got sacked yesterday. 9 times. And what did you still do? Oh, 4 to 6 step drop. Oh, let's go another 4 to 6 step drop. Oh, let's go another 4 to 6. 3 play calls the entire night were designed to break containment, designed to roll out of the pocket. 3. You took 1 shot downfield and got a fluke pass interference call, which brought you to within, striking distance of the end zone. And on 4th and 2 from the 2.5-yard line, you decided to kick the field goal. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're not a head coach in the NFL. You are horrible. I would never in my life consider myself to have the ability to call plays in the NFL, but I could still call plays better than you. You are a freaking clown. And the fact that you still have a job is an absolute joke, because if you were in any other organization in the world, you would not have a job. You wouldn't. You cannot do this to a franchise quarterback. You cannot do this to Justin Fields, who is not a pocket quarterback. He is more comfortable throwing on the run. He is more comfortable using his legs to make things happen. And you're not allowing him to make things happen. You're not allowing him to use his legs. You're not allowing him to be comfortable. Why? Maybe because you want Andy Dalton to be your starter. Maybe because you don't want Justin Fields to succeed in this league. Maybe you don't want to keep your job past this year. I don't know what the reason is. But whatever it is, you're a freaking moron. You're a moron. And stop with the, oh, well, we're going to watch the tape. You don't need to watch the tape. It doesn't work because you suck. It doesn't work because you can't alter your game plan. It doesn't work because you can't make in-game adjustments. It doesn't work because you are not an NFL-ready coach. Period. End of story.
Man, we are out.
Good shit.
I think that's like how we're going to start to end the show. It's just like a in rant thing.
Somebody take off